All right, what's going on, everybody? I wanted to go ahead and make this video from a guy actually asking me about the past experiences that I've had with girls. It seems like there's definitely a big concern in the Nofap community to improve their dating life and improve their sex life. I think that actually having like really productive sexual partners, I'll talk about what that means in a minute. Having productive sexual partners can actually lead to a better quality of life. And I think that it is also the cure to nofap. Now, there's also the comment on semen retention, and we're going to get to that, right? Now, before I go into specifically what happened that actually got me laid, that actually got girls into my rotation, I do things a little bit differently than most people, and with that, I actually don't get as much results. So I don't want to go out there and say like, oh, I'm this like chick magnet or whatever, but there was a period of my life where I was having a good solid, I had a solid like 3 to 4 girls that were very consistent. That was what I was good at. That's what I preferred. I preferred to have relationships with girls that were more productive. Like they were good people to be around and I enjoyed being around them. I just don't really do relationships. That's just not what I do. Okay. So before we get into that though, I want to talk about how the nofap and the female attraction actually works. Now, firstly, I want to go ahead and just say that if you're doing nofap for more girls, you will fail. You will relapse because what will happen is you will anticipate like, okay, I'm getting deeper into my nofap. I'm doing better. I'm going to get laid soon. And you start anticipating getting laid. And then if like a week goes by and you don't get laid, it's really hard to continue doing nofap because you're just trying to get this one thing. But nofap helps you do something else, and the female attraction winds up becoming a result of what happened with nofap. What nofap is really for is to give you more energy and to give you more motivation and to help you feel less depressed. That's what nofap does, okay? If you're moping around depressed and all said and done, then it's just going to be impossible for girls to connect with you because you're not going to be able to be present enough and in the moment with them to actually have like a meaningful conversation, right? Like meaningful conversation with girls, that's lame. No, it's not lame. It's actually how you as the guy get to enjoy it way more, okay? Now, it's really easy for us to compare ourselves to like the other like red pill coaches, the other nofap coaches, the other dating coaches, and kind of like try to emulate what they're doing. But I find that doesn't really work that well. I find what works best is that you just enjoy your own energy, which is what nofap is for. So instead, look at nofap as a tool for your self-improvement, that you will be doing X, Y, Z, which would be self-improvement things rather than, of course, watching prom. So when you do nofap, what are you doing it for? What's your reason? Let me know down below. What is your reason to doing this? And while you're at it, like and subscribe because we're trying to get the subscriber count up. Let's get it up. If you're on nofap specifically to get girls, you will fail. You have to be on nofap for a deeper reason, to find your purpose, to learn how to use self-development skills like reading and meditation and get into your own spirituality. Meditation is super powerful for nofap, and I think it's really important for people to understand how to do that. Because what happens is if you start getting into the zone of anticipation, which is when you're constantly thinking about the future and you're not able to enjoy the present moment and just be in the here and now, you'll always fail. And you won't even get the life that you want. You'll basically think that nofap is just like hoo-hoo ha-ha because you're doing it for the wrong reason. What happens is when you're on nofap, you begin to become more confident in yourself and you usually start to become more successful, or at least you start to you start to show signs of like harder work ethic, more ambition, and these are all attractive traits, not just to girls and for sex, but just in general. Like, you ever talk to somebody that just seems like they have absolutely nothing going on? Like they're always free to just like hang out and talk, and they don't actually bring anything meaningful. They're just kind of like almost entertaining for a bit. That's what you end up being, which is the easiest way to either get friend zoned or to never talk to the girls that you're actually attracted to, okay? a comment on how do I get girls that I'm attracted to. You need to stop looking at the girl specifically and look at the traits and the personality, the appearance traits and the personality traits that you're into. That's all you can do. You can't get too wrapped up in trying to get one specific girl. All you can do is think about personality traits and appearance traits that appeal to you. And you'll find that over time, as you do Nofap, if you focus in on doing the things like meditation and cold showers, and you start to become more disciplined, you start to develop a sense of purpose, you start to develop more ambition, you as a result become way more interesting. And if you learn just like basic communication skills as far as how to actually like talk to somebody, asking questions, being present, listening fully, things of that nature, you're going to have a deeper connection and you're going to have more game just off your own natural man energy when it comes to talking to girls. So with that to say, if you want to get more girls, of course, everybody wants to get more girls. The problem is that you got to look at, and we're going to get into a personal story with this, but if you start to, do a lot of the deed, then your Nofap, your prawn addiction just becomes addiction to, the real thing, right? You can become hooked to the act of being with somebody else, right? You don't have to just be addicted to prawn and fapping. You can be addicted to somebody else, like it's a drug. And I'm going to talk about that, okay? So I want to share some stories and examples from before Nofap as well as after Nofap, okay? Because I was able to get with girls before and after. But the relationship quality was way different, okay? So in the Nofap, let's talk about originally losing my V card, okay? I was, right before I turned 19, I was talking to a friend of mine I was at the gym with. Now, at this point, I had no idea that prawn was even bad for you, that fapping was even bad for you. Now, I've had girls at this point. I've had girlfriends at this point. I've dated before. I've obviously like hooked up. I've gotten like head, but I haven't had intercourse yet. So when I winded up, let me fix this camera real quick. When I winded up finally losing it, how I winded up actually losing it is a really interesting way. So I was talking to a friend of mine and I was like, we were basically just talking about like the gym and stuff. And he was like, hey, he had a girlfriend at the time. He's like, hey, my girlfriend has a friend who's like really into the gym. She's really into lifting weights. I think you guys would get along. And I was like, okay, word. And he got her to follow me on Instagram because apparently he was like, yeah, I'll give her your profile and see what she thinks. So he gave her my Instagram profile. And I guess she liked it. It was just pictures of me. I was working out, doing fitness. I was trying to become like a personal trainer and stuff. So again, guys, I wasn't even doing Nofap at the time. I was every day, every single day. I didn't miss a day. I didn't miss a day doing this, but I was still getting girls because it's not about the Nofap. It's that I had like, and now I did have a very like low-key depression, but I'm going to talk about how I got into Nofap in just a moment. So what ended up happening was when she followed me, I followed her back and I said to my friend, yo, what should I do? He was like, just DM her and say that you want to talk to her and that you think she's cute. I was like, okay. So I messaged her and I said, hey, I just thought you were cute and I wanted to talk to you. And we just started having like a good conversation back and forth. Again, I was doing the deed every single day. I was fapping every single day, but I was having a conversation with her because I wasn't really like thinking so much about how can I do this girl? I wasn't thinking that at all. I was just trying to have a conversation. I was just trying to enjoy the moment that we were talking. She seemed like an interesting and cool person and I wanted to get to know her. And that was really it. And then we wound up going on a couple dates, wound up, doing the deed, having fun, all that such. And then I asked her to be my girlfriend and she left. Yep, that's what happened. It was funny. Every time that I've ever went through an experience where I was just trying to like enjoy the time, everything was going smooth, and then I decided that I wanted to take this to the next level because I was never really into relationships. I never even wanted a girlfriend. I never wanted any of that, really. I just kind of like felt like I had to do it, right? I felt like I had to ask her to be my girlfriend. So that's what ended up happening was I asked her that and she left it. Then I got pretty sad after that. It's funny because when you don't have something, you're fine because you don't realize. But then when you get it and it's gone, you're like, oh, I really enjoyed that. And, I think that in itself is really powerful because I was perfectly fine without her before, but all of a sudden right after her, I started to feel down and depressed. But then eventually, I got over it. I started talking to another girl. So how this girl happened was, now guys, I don't really condone like picking girls up. I don't really do that myself. I'm usually too busy to even like think about going up to a girl and talking to her. I don't really like to go out with the sole purpose of like getting girls. I like to just enjoy myself and have fun. And I find that things just kind of fall into place when you just learn how to like enjoy your own energy, right? So I'm going to the gym, right? Notice the trend here. The gym has been huge for me as far as getting girls go. The gym is such an important place to go to. I think a big key as far as like wanting to just get with more girls in general, Nofap or not, is to simply just put yourself out there in the world more. Go to the gym, go to the yoga class, go to the jiu-jitsu class, go to the boxing class, go to the beach, go get out of the house and start actually doing things. And this is going to just naturally, organically, you're going to just meet people that way, get hobbies and such. But anyway, I go to the gym and a good friend of mine's at the front desk and there's some girl who's also working at the front desk. And me and my friend, we just start like joking back and forth and we start going into like, we just like give each other like a funny handshake or whatever. And then I go to and the girl was like kind of like just like, she worked there. So we were just like, having a fun time. We were all just like kind of like chatting and hanging out. I don't even know who she was. And then I said to her, I was like, yo, I got to give you the handshake now. Here it is, like, because you got to see it. So I showed her like a secret handshake, some shit. This was before Nofap or anything, so it has nothing to do with the Nofap. The attraction just comes from just enjoying yourself, right? So I do that little handshake, I go to the gym, I'm just talking to her here and there, and what happens is I go out to a club with my friend, and she winds up being there, and she's like, oh, hey, like, I have to show my friends the handshake, and she, like, pulled my hand, took me over to her friends, we started hanging out, we started hooking up, and she asked me out on a date, right? So I technically approached her, but I wasn't like trying to ask her out. I never try to get with girls. Whenever I try to get with girls, it never works. And I got into that, especially this is something with Nofap that actually can handicap you. But anyway, with this story, we winded up, good times. We were hanging out and stuff. But I started getting really bad with fapping. I was getting really bad. I was fantasizing about her before I even did the deed with her. It was weird. And I ended up having PIED. I got that for the first time. And the PIED, it's the, prawn-induced, you already get the gist. I wasn't able to get it up. My toy soldier wasn't working. Rich was taking a lunch break. So what ended up happening was, that happened a couple times. And we were like, what the fuck's happening? We were so confused. And she started to say, oh, I don't feel attractive and all that. And I went to the doctor and I got my hormones checked and he's like, you're fine. It's all in your head. So then I started looking it up as to what could be causing this. And I saw that it could be prawn. And I could be watching that. And I had no idea that this could be bad for me. I've been doing it from the time I was 12 to 19. And this is the first time I heard that it could be bad for me. And why it was bad for me. So I started meditating. I started doing cold showers and stuff. But it didn't work. Then what winded up happening was, so this is kind of like the downhill. Firstly, the relationship was going downhill anyway. I don't think it really had anything to do with the Nofap. I think it just, things weren't working out. So I get onto the Nofap, and I mean like a week into Nofap, my first time. I'm like, "Rah!" Like I have just this like immersive amount of just like sexual tension and energy like going on, right? And I just feel like a fucking dick almost, right? And then what happened was like I was working at the gym. I was working at a different gym at the time because I was doing like personal training, and I knew this girl who worked there, and she invited me to like this work party or whatever. We went to the work party, and I was supposed to go on a date with the other chick, but like I said, it wasn't working out. And like I remember when I was hanging out with her, I was like 5 days into Nofap, and I was like, I gotta fuck you right now. I gotta do this right now. And of course that turns girls off. So at first, when you're first starting Nofap, you become more attracted. You become more attracted, not attractive, attracted. You want it more. You want it more. So you start doing that. All of a sudden, she started getting turned off. We winded up trying to like work things out and like go on a date a few days later. Winded up going to this work party instead, and I'm posting pictures on social media of this girl on my lap, and she's texting me like, "Hey, where are you?" and stuff. I think it was kind of actually like a little bit of a rude move on my part. That wasn't really fair to her. I don't think that was really good, but yeah, whatever. F it. Who cares? I don't talk to her anymore. I didn't even get with the work girl because I was just like so wrapped up in this weird like egotism and aggression that I didn't even care about getting with her. I just wanted to just like get at the other girl. You know what I mean? Like I was immature. I was like 19, is 20 or something like that. It was really immature. And then what wound up happening was I got really into Nofap. I got really into the idea of it. I relapsed a couple times after that. I wasn't really focused on girls anymore. I started to just really get wrapped up into the idea of like self-improvement. Like I really, really enjoyed it. I really stopped, like, for the first time, I like stopped caring about girls. Well, not that I cared about girls before, but I wasn't like too hypersexual about it. But then I got really into the self-improvement, and I stopped even, like, I didn't ask out girls. I didn't care. I was focused on myself. I was waking up at like 4 a.m., going to bed at 9 p.m. I was trying to start my own business. I was getting my clients at the personal training gym right. I was trying to like make my own program to do online. I was posting online stuff. I was going at it. I was getting clients on my own for like a boot camp and such. And while on Nofap, there were a couple times where I went on dates with girls, but they didn't really lead anywhere. They led to like kind of like third base-ish, right? And what happened with those were, I remember there was this one girl in particular. I just want to share the story so you get like ideas, right? I was at the gym, again, always at the gym. There might have been a couple other stories, but they might not have been significant. But the significant ones were like, the gym was a huge connection, especially since I worked there, right? So that definitely fucking helped. There's no doubt that helped. So I was at the gym, and I remember I was like talking to a friend of mine. It was a girl. She wasn't really that attractive. She had a boyfriend that I was friends with, so she was just a friend. And we were just chatting, and I was like, "Yo, that girl's really cute." I was like talking to her, and she was like, "Oh, okay." And then like 5 minutes later, I saw her talking to her. Like she was like, "Oh, I like your pants" or whatever, and they started talking, and I was like, "That's my in." She did that for me. There's some girlfriends, like I mean, like girl space friends, like they can help you out, you know. Like if you're not a freaking weirdo, like just don't be a weirdo, don't be a creep. People will like introduce you to other people as well because they just like want to see their friend who's a girl with like a decent human being. You know what I mean? Like I'm not saying that you need to like validate or be like overly whatever, but I think there's definitely something to just being a decent human being. Like, so I had my own things going on, right? And I ended up going over and just like having a conversation with her. Where you from? You know, I like the gym shark you're wearing. Like, whatever. I just had a conversation with her. I ended up going up to her a little bit after. I was like, "You want to get like some food sometime?" Got her number. We went out, did a little something. But I ended up like, I hurt her with a fingernail. Let's just say that. And that wasn't smart. We ended up just not really working. Again, what happened was I never care. And then when I started dating the girl, I started getting into this mindset of like, oh, I really need to like wife her up or something. And I started getting more pushy toward the relationship. And then it got cut off before even anything fun happened. Really sucks. Really, really sucks. But that's part of life. You learn your lesson. So moving forward after that is when we started to get really into like the craziness. I was at the gym. That girl was probably like day 60, day 90 on the Nofap journey, we'll say, just getting like a rough ballpark. I was at the gym, I was working, and a friend who was a girl that worked at the gym, nothing was going on. We were just friends. She called me over. She was with her friend, and they were like asking me to like how to do like some machine or something like that, or I think they just wanted to like bullshit. And I was just like talking to them, having a good time. And then another friend came over and started talking to the coworker. So I just started talking to like her friend, and you know, I wound up just being like, "Yo, you should like put my number in your phone." Like I just said something like that because I was just feeling like she was really into me, right? The whole idea is like I never went into the gym that day thinking, "I'm going to approach a girl and get her." I never thought that. Even when I was going up to those two girls, I never thought like I'm gonna bang this girl. Like it never crossed my mind. And I think when you get that under control, other things start to fall into place just so much easier. And then I ended up hanging out with her like a couple days later, and we started off strong. She was a really cool girl. We hooked up. We ended up actually getting into the deed, and that was like one of the first times where like I had no problem whatsoever. I was really attracted to her. I had no PIED, and we just had a good time. But then after that is when I started to be like, oh, we have to like get married now for some strange reason. I was never even into relationships or anything like that, but it just started to like come in, like maybe because I just felt like I had to because of like society demands and such. And my mom always took to tell me like you gotta be like respectful with women and like make her your girlfriend. Bullshit, fucking bullshit. Anyway, eventually we ended up just whatever, parting ways. But everything was happening. We had fun, right? Cool. Hey, best of luck, okay? And then about a month later, we wound up meeting one of the longest term girls that I've ever like hooked up with. I ended up hooking up with her for like 3.5 years. I was stringing her along. I was stringing her along for 3.5 years. And what happened was this was like, at this point, no, because then what happened was, I remember that last girl ended up doing that. And then, you see, like, the thing with, like, the semen retention is, like, when you look at the comparison between, like, doing it with a partner and doing it by yourself, right? Doing the deed with a partner and doing the deed by yourself. Is I believe that when you do the deed with your partner, like, once or twice a week and it's under control, I feel like it doesn't negatively affect you, really. If you could take a break here and there, take a week off here and there, things of that nature, I think most of the time you're usually going to be fine. But what can happen, and what ended up happening to me down the line, is you could become hooked on it. And that's when it becomes another problem. And instead of Nofap, you have to do like no sex, right? So I ended up having that. But then like a month and a half later, after we like ended it, I was still on Nofap. I haven't fapped, but I did have, sex. But I didn't think it didn't really like affect my confidence the same way as like fapping would, right? I didn't feel shameful about it. It was just like, I enjoyed the time, and it was a good connection with somebody. So I felt like there was almost fuel from it, right? So then I remember I was at the gym again. I was working out, and I remember like there was just some girl who like wanted to like hand up keys that she found in the elliptical, and I was like, "Oh, did you steal the keys?" Like I just made a joke. You steal the keys? And she was like, "No, I didn't steal." I was like, "Oh, I'm just messing with you. Like I'll take the keys." Okay, so I took the keys. She ended up leaving, and then like a few days later, I remember I saw her at the gym again, and like she asked me about like nutrition or something like that. She actually approached me, and she said, "Hey, I heard you talking to a client about intermittent fasting. I just wanted to like ask about that." And so I started talking to her about that, and then like I kept seeing her at the gym periodically over the next few weeks. Ended up getting her Instagram, and then she messaged me on Instagram saying something. We were talking about like some peanut butter brand. And she sent me a message on Instagram, like, "Look what peanut butter brand I found." And we just started talking on Messenger. And then I ended up taking her out. Fast forward, 3.5 years, I pretty much strung her along. A few months in, she was like, "Oh, where is this going? Like, I really want a relationship and such." And I was like, "Yeah, at this point in my life, I can't really do that." So we stopped talking for 3 days. She hit me up, asking to talk. I just kept on stringing her along from there. During that time, that 3.5 years, there were a few girls that I was able to get with. So I'll talk about one who was in my rotation for a few months. Cute girl, she was cool. I liked her. We had a good time. I was at, again, get out of the house. I had a friend. It was like his brother's birthday. Someone I played football with. I didn't even play that much football, but there was a few pickup games that I played just for fun. But I ended up knowing someone from that. And then I went to this birthday party, and there were these two girls by like the beer pong table, and I was up to play, and I just said to them like, "Yo, what's up, guys? Like, how you doing?" Like, I wasn't trying to get with anybody. I was just like, "Hey, like, how you guys doing? Like, we're at the same party. Like, whatever, let's vibe." And then at the end of the party, this other girl comes up to me, who was, I think, like my friend's girlfriend, and she came up and she was like, "Hey, can you like hook up with the girl again? Like, can you hook up with the girl already?" And I was like, "What are you talking about? Hook up?" I was like, I wasn't even. Who are you talking about? Hook up with who? And then the girl came up to me who I said hello to, and she was just like, "What's your Snapchat?" And I gave her my Snapchat, and then she just left. And she started snapping me. we ended up chilling, and we had a good time for a few months, right? After that, there was another girl who I was with for a few months, who I remember I was just like with my friend, and he ended up getting some girl from Tinder who was hanging out with a couple friends, and we all ended up connecting. And when we were in the group, I saw that one girl was pretty cute, and I was just like, yo, like, where are you from? And I just started talking to her, like, how you doing? Like, where are you from? They came over back to my place. We were like in this group, and we were all just like kind of drinking and sipping and stuff. And I had these books laying out all over the place, and she was like, oh my God, like, these books, they're really cool books. Like, I read this one, and like, we vibed just off the books. And then one thing led to another. I ended up just getting with her that night. And then we hung out a few more times after that. So there's a few other stories. I don't want to go into detail on everything, but I did want to share some experiences with it. Overall, the concept of Nofap should be for the development of yourself and your self-improvement. And you learn how not to need it. You learn how to not need the bust. You don't need it. You don't need to fap. You don't need girls. You don't need it. You have other things that are fulfilling you and that make you enjoy yourself. You meditate. You don't need anything, really. The perfect point is to be in a place of meditation and presence where you don't really need anything. Like, there's nothing that I need. I have goals and I want to achieve things, and I think that makes me attractive. I think that the deeper I get into Nofap, I start to glow more and have more energy, and I start to fulfill into my purpose. And I think just as a result, girls find that more attractive. Just people in general find that more attractive, and then more opportunity can come up to you. So what I say is, don't look to get with the girl, but look for just opportunity. Look to put yourself in situations where you're meeting people, where you're talking to people, and stop making excuses. I don't care what part of the world that you're in, whatever the case is. Like, obviously everybody has different like starting points and different struggles, but you can make something happen. Everybody can make something happen. You can be the start of the group, right? Once you accept the fact that you don't want to make excuses anymore and that you're going to figure it out, if you meditate and you harness that energy, the ideas are going to come to you and your purpose will come to you. And you'll be able to figure out ways for yourself to go into different situations. Now, is it going to be uncomfortable? Yes. Is it going to be enjoyable? Yes. Is it going to be rewarding? Yes, it is. He who does not take risks does not drink the champagne. I want you guys to think about that quote all the time, okay? Now, guys, this video is getting a little bit long. Share with me your experiences. Guys, please like, comment, subscribe. Please support the channel. If you've been enjoying the videos recently, it would mean a lot to me. I really want to get the subscriber count up to 100 eventually. So anyway, guys, I'm going to go ahead and get ready to work on another business idea that I've been doing, and then I'm going to the gym. So I hope you guys get after it, get a workout in today, drink some water, and I'll talk to you guys next time.